We've all seen stick structures, stick breaks, and other weird markings in the woods. Are they related to Bigfoot? Let's talk about it tonight.
Something big is spooking residents. Multiple people have claimed to see a large furry animal trudging through the woods.
I literally could see him from all the way over here. I started hearing it. It was very large, and it was running so fast.
Of sorts for campers in Taos County. The Sheriff's Office is sharing safety tips on social media to protect yourself from
Bigfoot.
I saw something out of the corner of my eye off the side of the road in a culvert.
It's not like a bear, and it wasn't like a coyote. I've never seen anything like that.
No details, big, like 10-foot foam, big. It freaked out, hit in the leg.
I don't think it registered what it was.
What's the likelihood that there are big animals that have gone undetected by scientists and by trained observers?
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the show. We are here on this Wednesday evening, April 1st, 2026. April Fools. The same day that they're going back to the moon. Coincidence? I think not. Fool me once, shame on me. Or something like that. Whatever that saying is. NASA, we don't believe you anymore, buddy. You should have picked another damn day besides April Fools. But whatever, you know. You're going to the moon. Okay, buddy. Yeah, sure you are, all right? I've been told by my drunk friends that before, too. Anyways, how's everybody doing tonight? Tonight we are going to get into... We're going to get into the stick structures, the stick breaks. The thing that we found over the weekend is still rolling through my mind. It was the wildest one I've ever seen. It's the wildest stick break I've ever seen. Simply because it was a perfect triangle and all the breaks were pointing towards the next break. So, Shane, if you want to hop on here, brother, my guest tonight didn't tell me that he was booked on another show like last week, so I canceled him. I don't have a guest tonight. Shane, if you want to, I will send you a link right now and you can jump on. I'm sure the people would like to hear my version of the midweek howl, right? Yeah, they're not landing. It's just orbit. That was Moonshine Stacy. Yes, it was, brother. Yes, it was. We're going to hope we make it through this show tonight. I just so happened to try to investigate what happened to my computer last time. And it turns out I have 1 gigabyte of storage left. So I ex-nayed all of that. And got plenty of storage on my computer now. I didn't realize that everything I've been doing was just filling my storage up. And so good idea every now and then to check. So hold on. I'm going to send the invite to Shane Grove. And maybe Shane Grove, maybe will jump on with us and talk about us. Talk to us. Not talk about us. Maybe we'll talk about us. I don't know. He's kind of a Yankee Doodle, you know, and Yankee Doodles have their ways, very passive-aggressive ways of calling you out, right? And Shane does that from time to time. He'll be like, yo, I see you just crossed 11,000 subscribers. I'm over 15 now. No big deal. But what do I know? And I'm like, yeah, okay, buddy. Okay, buddy boy. Okay, buddy boy. Bigfoot World Cryptid Researchers. Is that Kathy or is that Pam? Need to get one of y'all down here to the cave and interview you girls for the show. Would be great. Would be a good time, you know. I don't know if everybody's seen or not, but today, and it may be April Fool's prank. I know that the Bigfoot mapping project has not been working lately. I know people in the chats here have complained about, it's not been working right. He posted today that an intelligence agency asked him to take it down, basically. And so the Bigfoot mapping project was being shut down. I don't know how cool that or true that is. I sent him a link to come on the show. Yeah, you listen to Shane talk about a gimpy unaliver today. I listened to that too. I'm pretty sure it made my Uber passenger offended. Wouldn't be the first time that the midweek howl got me a negative review on Uber. Maybe I should give out more mints, chocolates, moist towelettes, those kind of things. Yeah, but Scott from the Bigfoot Mapping Project, let's see what he said. Let's see what he said. Bigfoot Mapping Project, and maybe it was April Fool's. That's the problem with posting stuff today and doing stuff on today. I don't know if it's real or not. Do it tomorrow, I do need to correct myself on something. Okay, I was alerted by a subscriber here on our channel. Okay, here, before we get into that announcement, following a request from the intelligence community, the Bigfoot Mapping Project will be down until further notice. Okay, yeah. I'm going to assume it was April Fool's. If it was April Fool's, you fucking got me, bro. You fucking got me. Me being stupid, right? But, yeah, right. I spoke a few weeks ago about the lower Swanee management area, and I showed the picture, everything, where it said no harvesting of swamp or skunk apes. Okay. I had it. Somebody sent me the new brochure for 2025, and it was in there. Okay. I don't know if they pulled this off a line. I don't know where they pulled it up at. I didn't even question it because I had seen it in the earlier ones. Told this guy the other day, Florida Bullfrog, I was like, yo, I'll send it to you because he said he couldn't find it. I looked and I couldn't find it. And what I did find is something else he said. He said that it was a joke by their PR person in the 2021 hunting regulations. It was a joke right next to the real rules of you can't harvest a swamp or a skunk ape. I never found that until now, and I did look. Okay? I don't know. However, it appears they've either changed it, which I doubt, or my buddy got one off of Lime that was not factual. And that's what got sent to me. So I just want to correct, it is not in the 2025. I haven't seen the 2026 hunting regulations, but from what I found online, it is no longer in there. However, they have posted now that they were joking about the other one. They never posted that before. That's something new. So, just a correction on my part when I am wrong, which is a lot, I will correct myself. No ego here, bro. Well, there's an ego, but, I have to get up and look in the mirror every morning, and that ego goes right out the damn window. Who am I kidding? I think I'm beautiful. Anyways, on to it, guys. Sorry about the other night. Technical issues. Computer crashed because it was full of memory. And I did not get to do the raffle, the giveaway for the LBL trip. We can either save it till Sunday or we can do it tonight. I think we should probably save it till Sunday. Probably be better. Can promote it more. So I guess, what I did want to do is I haven't done it in a while, is I want to give out a shout out before we start talking and I start babbling. I want to shout out to all the members. Mickey Richards. Okay. He says it's under the wild hog regulations. Is that in the 2025? Because what I seen online, I did not see it. And I pulled it off their site. So Mickey Richards, I know it was in the 2021, and I believe it was in the 2023 as well. But the 2025, I did not find it. Let me know, Mickey. I'm going to give a shout out to our members now. Bear with me, there's quite a bit. R. Goodard, 30. Todd Porterfield, 5358. Cody, 2102. Jesse Stancher. Forever Jets, 80. Melissa Palazzi. Amy Alo. AVT Prepper. Truckin' Jake just become a member. Look at that. Got to shout out Truckin' Jake. Florida Skunk Ape, 8256. Kat Lee. Jerry Brandenburg, 5030. Tank Therapy. Bobby Snyder, K7R. Beach Bum Boatsmith. Robert Fuller, 9522. Squatching Granny, 65. Possibly the coolest name I've seen so far. Pop Smoke. Pop Smoke, please reply to my email about the Dogman photos you sent me. Jason William, K1S. The Orb Enforcer. Stephen Ailman, 9757. Lou 1P. Eugene Page, 7248. Chrissy Michelle, 6153. Eric Fitz, 1985. Dean Pollard, 2869. RDL, 29073. Larry Sharp, 4193. Windwalker 1. Zuli Catores, 9657. D. Valero. STV Walden 1. North Ward 7. JP 58. J. Rich 850. Brian Davis 82973. Busby 1972. Jason and Stacy. Flat Rock WB 19. Skidder Operator. Hartgrove Meacham. Daniel Smith 7556. Christina Cryptids. Rachel Garrard 8019. And Bloodwolf 1968. Thank you all so much for being members of the channel. I'm working on opening a Discord. That's going to happen soon. I know I said the other day I was going to upload episode 2, Journey to Belief. I'm doing it as soon as I'm done with this. My computer issues messed me up on that, and I forget stuff because I smoke trees, people. However, that's going to go up for all you members tomorrow. Y'all can check it out. And we're probably going to release Journey to Belief here soon on the channel. Episode 1 at least. I think it's been up about a month for members. So, going to be getting that out because we're gearing up to do Journey to Belief Season 2. Tank therapy. Do you own like a lot of fish or something? I wonder. I have a tank now. I own a frog. Pop Smoke, you have no email. I will resend it. It was about the Dogman pictures, bud. So, wanted to talk to you about that. Been YouTube, and yep, that's what's up. Okay, so just to refresh everybody's memory, maybe y'all weren't here the other night. I'm going to play this video of the structures that we found. The big branch was broken, and then the one that was pointing turn the audio down because my pirate mouth. You see that one points to that one, which had another one tucked into it. Then it goes all the way around to this one that's broken and pointing back towards the other. So that one has been running through my mind. You know, a lot of tree breaks, and you see people always posting tree breaks. Tree breaks in Florida are not reliable for the most part. I'll tell you why. It's because we have a thing called hurricanes, right? We have severe weather, and that tends to break a lot of limbs, right? Especially if there's no deadfall around, you have to worry about winds. Then you go up north, and any of those, snow load is a big thing. Right? Snow load breaks a lot of stuff. So it's hard. It's always been hard for me to give them any credibility, I guess. However, these ones we found the other day, very strange. I'd never seen any that were broken in an exact triangle. I mean, we were like 2 inches off of this thing being an exact triangle, which was crazy. Maybe that has nothing to do with it. Maybe that's just a coincidence. Maybe it's a portal. I don't know. I don't know why these things would do that. If you watch Chimp Empire, anybody that's ever seen that, you'll see the alpha male chimpanzee. He's got a huge group family, 30 people or so, you know, and he'll come out and he'll run around everybody, and it's just a show of dominance. But as he's running, he's snapping trees, breaking them, doing all of that. And so if Bigfoot is a primate, it would make sense that Bigfoot would show this type of behavior, right? But for what? You know, I mean, unless they're just showing dominance. I've found in the past that the tree breaks will point to water. You know, or it will at least point to another tree break that then you follow them and they end up pointing to water. It's kind of different everywhere you go. The problem with Florida is there's water everywhere. I mean, all you got to do is dig a little bit. And if you're in the flatland, like I think where we were at in Osceola, we were at 1 foot sea level, so that is, you don't have to dig far to get to water if in case you can't find water. But I know the Native Americans would use tree markers, to sometimes point the way to a trail, almost like a road sign, something they could follow when they got through the woods, pointing towards a certain destination that they had. And I wonder if the Bigfoots didn't pick up on something a few hundred years ago, and they're simply still passing that down to each other. Some of the Native Americans would say once you found the breaks, you need to back out because that was their territory. This is just stuff I was told by tribal elders, that if they were ever walking in the woods and seen a tree twist, they would turn around and leave, because then they had entered, the hairy man's territory. And to go further, especially at night, could lead to death, right? So I have no idea. I have no idea what these things mean. The one we found was the most interesting thing. That weekend was great. Outside of the ticks, it was really good. But I just wish I could watch the Bigfoots doing what they do. I really wish that I could be almost accepted. So you look back at Albert Ostman's encounter. He was kidnapped. He was brought to a family. I know I say it and I probably wouldn't like it as it was going on, but damn, that would be cool. If a Sasquatch would take me to his family and then I could sit there and study them doing what they do. If I lived through it, how cool would it be to go on a hunt with a group of Sasquatch? Right? How cool would that be? We haven't learned anything about Bigfoot. We know some weird things go on. We theorize a lot, but we haven't learned anything, especially if it turns out this Patterson-Gimlin film isn't real. So I don't know. I don't know where we go. Besides just a bunch of theories, how do we move the ball forward? How do we figure something out? The Florida bullfrog, I did go through the stuff that you sent me. It looks like the thing my buddy sent, the form my buddy sent me, looks legit, but it doesn't match the one that's online. I don't know if maybe somebody AI'd that to put it back in there, and then he sent it out. I couldn't tell you on that one, but he says, my guess, because of the undefined prints coming off of it, is this related to someone's turkey hunting from a past season? I don't know how it would be related to the turkey season. They were rather old. I think the prints were at least within the last few days. And not sure about turkey season, if it had started out there yet. I'm not sure about that. So could be, but I don't know why somebody would do it. Like what purpose would you break those limbs for? Because you couldn't hide behind them. All you would have had to do in that grouping, because it was like in the middle of a bunch of palmettos that you couldn't see out of. So what was the point to break the trees, right? I don't understand it. That being said, I didn't see a Bigfoot doing it. I thought it was one of the weirder things. I don't know why somebody would break trees and to form a triangle, and it wasn't a triangle to where like you could get in it and it was hiding you or anything. It was pointing towards the other break, and then that was pointing. You could walk all up in between there, And Zuli, good point. Someone has to pick a structure and study it every single day to see what changes. I mean, maybe they add stuff to it. Maybe they take stuff away. Who knows? Maybe the more humans come in, the bigger it gets, right? This wasn't one of this. I don't know if I should call this a structure. It was just a series of breaks, really, that formed a triangle. Not sure how that would be a structure. It wasn't anything like, a teepee structure or like a hut, those things always, because I've found the teepees before. I found the things that look like huts. I just can't rule out people, Boy Scouts going out there, popping up some TP stuff. I did that shit when I was a kid too. Like, had you went in the woods around my neighborhood where I grew up, when I was growing up, there were structures everywhere, and I was making them with my friends. We would build forts, we would cut down trees, break trees down, pick up dead trees, and we would like build little forts out of them, and then we would have BB gun wars, which is insane. I don't know how many of y'all in the chat had BB gun wars, but like, bro, I don't know why my parents didn't tear my ass up for that. They went and bought more BBs for me. Be plucking them out my leg, Yeah, Bullfrog, the brakes were older than the tracks. How old? I don't know. I know Florida's, how long does it take a stick to dry out in the Florida humidity? I know we've been going through a drought, so maybe it doesn't take that long. But then again, maybe it does. I'm not sure. BB gun warrior here. Yes, sir. Like when we were doing the BB gun wars, bro, we weren't wearing eye protection or anything. Bottle rockets is insane. I don't know what's wrong with you kids. Y'all was in wild ass kids that grew up on the other side of the tracks. Like in Lion King, when Mufasa's like, Simba, you see the dark side of that shadow place? That's south side of Tallahassee. Don't go over there, bro. Stay your ass over here. Them kids shooting bottle rockets at each other. But anyways, want to open the lines, and y'all can call in. You can share your thoughts on breaks, or if you have a encounter story, let me know it. Let's talk about it. Hold on, I gotta sign back in. Gee whiz. Why are we always having to sign me out, bro? Okay. All right, people. The phones are on. The phones are on. That's the best I can do for you. The phones are on if you people want to call. Let's see if we're hooked up to the Mixcaster here. Yep, we are hooked up. So anybody want to talk about it? Y'all want to talk about it? Talk about the tree breaks. Tell me your encounters. You got questions? Perfect time to do it. Hold on. Somebody said they grew up, or I grew up on the south side of Tallahassee. Sorry, bro. Okay. Yeah, you grew up on the south side of Tallahassee, bro. You got stories. Everybody talks so much crap about Wakulla County, but south side of Tallahassee, bro. Whew. I don't like to mess around there now, But so we've seen breaks before. Like there was in the area we go to, there was a large X across the road. And these trees were like big around as my waist. So probably like a 34 or something. 34 inches. And I don't know how a Bigfoot would do that. I'm probably not giving enough credit for their strength, but I really just don't. It's hard to think that something would push a damn tree up by the roots across the road and then push another one, to kind of make something. That shit's blows my mind. I know my friends don't have no problem going there with it, and I'm not as skeptical probably as some people would be, because I do have a belief in Bigfoot. I do know Bigfoots are real. I just don't know. Once again, I'd have to stay with them for a little bit to kind of get an understanding of what all things they can do, and what things they can't. So, y'all please hit that like and subscribe button while we on here tonight. Shane gonna come in here and say, "Oh, I guess you don't need me," and then I send him the link, and then he doesn't get on. What am I doing, brother? What am I doing? Okay, Cody 2102 might be off topic, but I wonder if using actual film cameras would be the key to getting better images, photos. The film captures more information than digital, especially 35 millimeter and 75 millimeter film. That's kind of where we're at right now. The problem is film's expensive, as we all know. That you could, okay, so like one of the cameras we're building is like no electronics, no parts at all camera. It's got photo paper in it. It's one shot. It's a little camera about this big, just big enough to hold the photo paper. Printed it with a 3D printer. And then there's a hole in the front. And what you do is you close the lens cap. And then so that burns the image of the last thing it was looking at. Now this camera wouldn't put off no light. There wouldn't be no moving parts to it. We're trying to figure out a mechanism that wouldn't be electronic in any way, that would possibly work with a pressure plate, so when you stepped on it, it would close the lens cap and then therefore capturing the image. Right? But the problem with that camera is you got one shot. That's it. Nothing else. But we've definitely thought about that because our cameras have went dead more than once. Les Stroud, when his cameramen, and I took them to Oscilla, their stuff just, boom, straight went dead. And there was no reason. They're like, this is the weirdest thing we've ever experienced. Because they always had heard about, oh yeah, Bigfoot is after your batteries on your cameras, but they had never experienced it. And they were like, whoa, okay. So there's something to it. There's so much in this phenomena that it's hard to get a bearing on what's going on. There's so much shit flying at you all the time. You're seeing so much different stuff. And so you can't tell. I mean, it would be nice just to have a regular Bigfoot encounter and nothing weird be going on like it was back in the old day. But it seems now, and I don't know what it's about, it just seems like it's more and more. Bradley JW, hope this episode is R-rated. What, you wanting to see a little bit of breast or something, bro? What's going on? What's going on here? Got freaks come out at night. Yeah, brother, I don't know what you're talking about. You trying to get demonetized. Although, fuck it. Right? Who cares? Okay, Chris Hinsby. Chris, what's up, buddy? I have a theory that using a power source is not going to work. If they have the ability to use orbs, what is an orb? Light, so it's energy. My thought, anything that contains energy. You know, here's the problem. Like, this is a thing with like paranormal, with like ghosts, right? It's also a thing with UFOs. The cars are just shut off. You know, boats are just shut off, electronics, all that jazz. And why does it happen with Bigfoot? Why is that? If Bigfoot's just an ape, why is it that that's just, it shouldn't be a thing? But here we are. And I was telling a guy last night, I did his podcast. I think it was his first podcast. But I was telling him that, you know, Bigfoot is it's an individual experience. And I believe it's a phenomena. And that phenomena may come to you as an alien, may come to you as a dog man, may come to you as the Loveland Frogman. But if you put yourself out there, it will come to you. And then enjoy it in whatever form that it comes in. You know? And he may be, a Bigfoot may be coming from the same place that these other things are, especially now they're talking about UFOs being interdimensional beings. So if they're interdimensional beings, then we know interdimensional beings exist, right? So why couldn't Bigfoot be there? You know what I'm saying? Why couldn't Bigfoot be coming through that same way? Oh, Greg Miller, somebody out there, please call in with a Bigfoot encounter. We need it, LOL. Yeah, hey, maybe it's a dead night. Maybe nobody wants to call in. It would be a first. But there's always got to be that one time, right? Shane stands me up and nobody calls in. And that's just how it's going to go. We have 112 people watching right now. And not one of y'all has seen a Bigfoot or wants to talk about it, I guess. Is what it is. Jason Williams, a lot of encounters aren't people looking for Bigfoot. Could they unconsciously manifest one? Maybe. That's not I wouldn't see why not. You know, most encounters that people have, they're not looking for Bigfoot. And maybe there's something to that. You know, there's an old saying, Bigfoot will find you. And I truly believe that. I truly believe that Bigfoot will find you. All you had to do is be out there and be open to the whole process. You know, and I find it weird that like the psychics have, you know, kind of connections with Bigfoot, and that kind of goes hand in hand with the telepathy. So what are these creatures, right? And what are they making the thing? PayPal handle is on the ticker. It is PayPal/Bigfoot Stacy. Okay, bikes and bullets. Talk a little more about channels you believe are faking content with AI generated stories. I hate to call people out and like name names. But I think you should be able to pick up on them. I definitely think if you just thought about it, it's not hard to tell. It's not hard to tell. I kind of did call out one. The whole How to Hunt channel. I think a lot of that is AI generated stories. Dixie Cryptids, I think, is AI generated stories. I could go on. Yeah, or maybe not AI GPT is AI. So yeah, AI generated stories. Anytime you're not hearing a voice to that, I think it's definitely suspect, right? And you got to look for things that are suspect. Oh, so hey, has everybody looked at Bigfoot remains? The guy who believes he's out of the Adirondacks, I believe, and he found a Bigfoot and he's touring it around. I did ask him to come on the podcast, and he said that he would love to come on the podcast, but he doesn't want to do it over Zoom. He wants to come to the studio. So I'm gonna definitely, if he's gonna come to the house, we're gonna go out in the woods, hang out, camp a couple days, and then I'm gonna interview him. So that's, like I said, I think it's satire. I could be wrong. Maybe he is serious. But either way, it looks awesome. It's I'm not putting no stock in it, but if he'll let me see it and it is remotely real, I will tell you. I think it's fake. I'll also tell you that, right? Either way, because I have no skin in the game. But if it is real, if you hear me saying this Bigfoot I believe is real, then he's got me fooled. Right, if it ends up being fake. Steve Wolf, it's PayPal/Bigfoot Stacy is the PayPal handle. It's scrolling across the bottom. You see the Bigfoot Cash App and then the PayPal/Bigfoot Stacy. Okay, Paul. Paul says he didn't ask for his experiences, but it happened, and there was 4 of us. You could call in and share it. Like, don't just talk about it, buddy. Let's let everybody know the details. That would be cool. Would love to hear it. We got our first call. About fucking time. You're on the Bigfoot Underground.
Hey, what's up, Stacy?
This is him. How you doing, buddy?
Good. This is Chris Envy. We had an interview a little while back.
Yeah, bro. I know who you are.
All right.
What's up, buddy?
Well, you were kind of asking about anybody that had any experiences and stuff that maybe they hadn't shared yet, and I was thinking about it, and I don't remember what episode it was. It was maybe a couple of weeks ago. You were talking about something regarding what I think you referred to as like being like the 500-pound owl that just didn't sound right.
Right.
And like the middle of the day or something like that. And so I kind of have, I have a story for that. And I don't know if it kind of qualifies to what you were saying, but I just kind of wanted to tell you my story, if that's okay.
Yeah, bro, lay it on me, man.
Sure. So, like I was telling you in our earlier interviews, me and my brothers, we used to spend a lot of time down at the river where we used to hear those Indian drums,
right,
and things like that. And this one particular day, we were on that river on a paddle boat, like one of those ones that you just, you pedal like a bike, and it just kind of, you just kind of leisurely go down the river. And we hear this. This is during the day, mind you. We hear this like wicked loud, what we thought might have been an owl.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, we kind of thought maybe that's what it was. Well, flash forward maybe 15 years later, me and my brother, the same one that I was on that same river with, he asked me about that. He said, "Hey, do you remember that monkey that we thought we heard?" And I said, yeah, I remember that. And he goes, "What do you think that was?" And I said, "You're not going to like my answer, but I think it was a Bigfoot." And he goes, "Well, I think it was an owl." And I looked right at him and I said, "In the middle of the day?" And not only that, but we were hundreds of yards away from it.
Right.
I mean, I know you can hear owls at nighttime from a long distance, but I mean, this is during the day. And it didn't sound like a normal owl.
Sometimes the owls.
Anyway, he goes.
Sometimes the owls will go off in the middle of the day, but they sound like owls. You know what I mean? You like,
right.
You don't hear, and this, you'd have to hear it to know what we're talking about, right? When we say it sounds like a 500-pound owl, it just.
Exactly.
Yeah. When you normally hear owls, you don't think anything about it. It's just,
they're very subtle.
Yeah. And then when you hear one that's
right.
like, you can tell is huge or sounds to be huge. What do you, then you're like, oh, wow, that sounds weird. I don't know that that's an owl. And you don't get that when you normally hear it.
Right. Well, the thing that got my attention was, of course, when we first heard this, I was pretty young. My brother, he was an avid hunter. He knows the sounds of the wilderness around here. This was, he thought literally it was a monkey. He thought it was some kind of monkey.
Right.
And then a couple years later, he was like, started thinking about it. And he was like, well, no, it had to have been an owl. But it was so guttural and so loud that when I told him what I thought it was, he kind of paused. And he was like, I really don't want to believe that, but I think you might be right. It was kind of like a gripping scenario. I don't really know what I'm trying to make as a point, but I'm just saying, I don't know if anybody else has heard that kind of thing, but
yeah, I've definitely heard it. It is a thing that's talked about amongst the Bigfoot community. I tend to think that they use bird sounds, owls, crows, anything like that, to communicate with other ones during the day, at night, so they can be more subtle with each other, right? They think,
Yeah.
you can get that across to somebody without, actually be like, oh, making a Bigfoot sound, right? That would give your position away.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And, I mean, when it did happen, we all kind of looked at each other because we were all in the same little boat, and we were like, well, that doesn't really make sense, but we know there's no monkeys around here, and we were pretty sure there was no owls around there. But
right.
Anyway, I guess my point is, when I tried to bring that up to my brother, he had the idea of like, there's no possible way, but that's kind of like where my mind went.
And that's skeptics. In the moment when they hear it, when it's fresh on their mind, they'll go to weird places with their explanations, but give them a few weeks and they'll talk themselves out of it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. And I think he has thought about it since then, but
right.
Actually that same day, not to go off course, but that same day when we heard that, we were traveling down the river, and I was a little kid, and I kept swearing. And he told me if I did it one more time, he was going to throw me off the raft. And I swore, and he threw me off the raft. So, yeah. So I had to swim after it.
Yeah, and that water's kind of cold up there, bro.
Yeah.
Well, buddy, I appreciate the call,
anyway,
man.
Yeah, for sure, man. I'm sorry I didn't mean to interrupt, but
no, you're
I just
good,
figured
brother.
I would share that a little bit.
Yeah, it seems to be a weird night where the phones aren't blowing up. But you know what? When you called, somebody else called at the same time, and I had to decline it. So I'm about to call them back. So.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But that
I'd like to hear the stories.
I do appreciate you calling, brother, and I hope you're doing well.
Yeah, absolutely. You too, man. I'll talk to you later.
All right, buddy. Bye.
Peace.
All right. So let me call back the Bigfoot callback show. After this call, I will open the lines again if anybody's wanting to call. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Hello.
Hey, this is Stacy with the Bigfoot Underground, just calling you back.
Stacy Brown, what's up, brother?
How you doing, buddy?
All right. How you doing?
Had quite a day. Playing the family mechanic, changing out an alternator, doing random stuff. Typically
ain't nothing worth doing than that, dude. Doing handyman mechanic work for nothing,
Oh yeah, dude. I hate mechanic work. They don't make the vehicles anymore to where you can fit your hands into the shit, let alone pull the parts out. Once you take the alternator off, you got to pull all these other parts out just to remove the alternator.
I ain't much for a mechanic myself, but I don't know how you guys keep up with that stuff to keep changing stuff to get electronic brakes on stuff now. Yeah, I don't know how you guys do.
Yeah, my son's a legit mechanic now. He's 21. He's a legit mechanic, works for Freightliner. And normally I would be like, yeah, boy, this is your job now. Daddy's retiring as a family mechanic. But he's in Dothan, Alabama at school. Freightliner sends him to training a couple times a year. So that's where he's at.
What do you want to talk about, brother?
You called me, bro.
Yeah, I got stories. I can keep you busy for a minute.
Well, let's go with it, dude. What you got? We're all sitting here. All 111 people are sitting here wondering what you got to tell.
All right, I'll do them in order, I guess.
No pressure.
Nothing too crazy. I sent you an email probably a week ago or so. You responded to it. I'm sure you get a lot of emails.
More than I can handle.
I ended it with saying that my girlfriend of mine up at camp had seen a silhouette in the trees.
Yeah.
So that's me. That was the last encounter I had, but I didn't. That was her part of the story.
Right.
And I had to proofread it.
Gotcha.
And,
well, tell that story to everybody. That's a good one. And yeah, because you were into Bigfoot and your old lady's not, but your old lady's the one that has the encounter.
Yeah. You want me to tell that, or you want me to tell it from the beginning where all the Shiite started?
Yeah, go from the beginning, man.
Oh, all right. So I'm 41 now. The beginning of this was probably 2010, maybe. I was probably in my late 20s, early 30s. I'm not sure exactly what year it was. So a buddy of mine would always go out to this reservoir to fish. And we'd go, sometimes we'd go evening fishing for bass or pike or whatever. And sometimes we'd stay overnight to catfish overnight, just stay the whole night there. And the more we got into it, and this place is private property, you can't get in there. So the fishing is just bomber. There's no public access in there. So there's nobody, there's no houses around it. There's nothing there. There's no roads. There's no nothing. So we would go out there, first year or so, we'd go out there, whatever, once or twice a month. The more we got into it, we're out there like 2, 3, 4 days a month, just spending the night. Go out early evening, bass fish for a while, and then we would catfish, all night. Throw the rigs out, put a bell on, we'd set up, set up a hammock, start a fire, whatever, spend the night. So we did this for 3 or 4 years. At one point, we're sitting there by the fire. He's asleep. We have a fire going. I'm sitting in a chair that I have set up. He's sleeping next to the fire. I hear something moving off to my right, and I'm looking at the lake. It's not unusual to hear stuff moving around in the woods when you're in the woods.
Right.
It's probably midnight, 2 in the morning. No big deal. Keeps moving. I keep listening. I'm still looking towards the lake. Keeps coming towards me. Eventually, it gets close enough to me. I hear it step on a branch that's sizable enough that I know this thing is decently sized. It's breaking a branch it's big. I don't know what it is that's moving towards me, but I know that it's heavy enough to break this freaking branch, and it's probably not a dude walking around the woods with no headlamp. And I know there's no trail or anything up there. So at this point, I get concerned. I turn around. I start shoving my friend. I'm like, dude, wake up, dude, wake up. There's something out here. There's something moving behind us. He's not moving. He gives me the kind of, whatever, groans or rumbles and just rolls over, I don't have time for this. I'm listening to what this thing is.
Mm-hmm.
It keeps walking. It's moving at a slow, steady pace on 2 feet. I can't see it because I have this weak ass. You remember those old Coleman Walmart headlamps, dude?
Sure do. I had like 12 of them.
They had like 2. I can't remember if they took AA or AAAs, but they're just real small. They had like 3 settings, like 1 direct light, 2 little small lights, and then like a red setting.
Yep.
Dude, so that's what I was using. Dude, it's so weak. And I told you in the email that I sent you, after that this encounter that I had, I spent a lot of money on flash. I took years to acquire them, but now I don't have anything that's under 1200 lumens. Chargeable ones that take batteries. I always have a flashlight on. I keep one in my pocket all the time. Anywho.
A flashlight or a flashlight?
Hey, man, I don't need your jokes today, Stacey.
Okay, buddy.
I'm about to die here. You're making sex jokes.
Hey, I thought I misunderstood what you said, but go ahead, bud. I'm sorry.
All right, so this thing gets up to me, but like when I say 12 o'clock, the lake is directly behind me.
Mm-hmm.
It's directly in front of me. So at this point, I'm so freaked out. This thing isn't, it's like 60 feet away, maybe 70 feet, just so I can't see it. I can't see it. I know that it's there. I can't see it. My heels are in the water at this point because it's directly in front of me, and it stops. It chills there, and it stares me down for, I can't tell you how long it was. It was between 10 and 20 seconds. It just stood there and stared at me. My heels are in the water, and my option is, I'm thinking, I don't have a firearm. I have no defense. So if this, I got a dude laying on the ground here right now. I can't help him. If this thing comes out, I'm turning around. I'm jumping in the lake.
Right.
And I'm going to swim across. It's not, I'm like in a little cove kind of spot. So it's only like 100 feet to land. I don't have to swim like real far, but that's what I'm thinking. So I'm standing there thinking this. Doesn't vocalize, doesn't make a sound. I think I vocalized out to it at one point, well, like when it was coming up to me, hey, what are you doing? What do you want? You know, whatever. That's it. I never got anything from it, stood there for that period of time, and it just moved off very confidently at the same pace that it was walking in. And it wasn't, what I want to mention here is the confidence that it took this thing to move in, and it doesn't make sense to me. Like there's a feeling that came over me that I didn't understand. I never felt that way before. So after that, when it was moving off, I felt as though it wasn't coming back. It had lost interest. I didn't feel as though there was more than one. I just thought that's the only one, and it's going to keep moving, and it's gone. I didn't think it was coming back, so I didn't have trouble sleeping or anything like that after that. But I didn't really go back to that spot after that. So I used to go to that spot religiously. So after that, I didn't really go back. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't really thinking Bigfoot at the time. So after that, I kind of thought about it, and then I became
what were you
very
thinking?
Interested. I don't know, man. I was thinking bear
right
at first, and then I'm thinking this thing's not, it's walking on 2 feet. I'm thinking crazy guy, very heavy crazy guy in the dark, in the woods, in the middle of the night.
With no flashlight?
With no flashlight, walking up on 2 dudes with a campfire going. Who does that?
Yeah, see, like when I first talked about my encounter, when I spoke to somebody at work about it, they were like, yeah, it's probably some dude just messing with you. And I'm thinking to myself, that's where you went with that? Like you actually think that somebody would walk up on somebody's campfire and try to scare them in a Bigfoot suit? Like that's where your mind went to? Because that, to me, is the least possible thing there is. Because you will get your ass shot trying to scare somebody. If those persons, especially if they have firearms. And you're in the woods, so you should assume that everybody in the woods have a firearm. Right? I think that's a safe assumption. Why you would go and mess with somebody? Because like I had a similar encounter where I was hearing the steps, and I shined a light on that tree, and I shined that light for like 10 minutes. And I was waiting. I was like, yeah, you got to come out. You got to come out. I got your ass pinned down. Now, I didn't have the balls to go down there and look, but it wouldn't come out. And then I turned the light off and walked up the hill. And as soon as I got up the hill, it started walking again, you know? And then when the guy at work told me, yeah, it's probably just some dude messing with you, I didn't talk about it. I would just be like, yo, it pressed on my tent, something pressed on our tent, and I left it alone. I didn't say that we seen the damn thing. Because then everybody else go, oh, yeah, somebody just messing with you. You got out there and got scared. Y'all were drunk. You're on mushrooms. You know, the non-believers will ridicule you pretty bad and ridicule you to not talking. And that's kind of where I was, right? But sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, no, you're good, dude. I understand. I mean, you'd have to be on drugs or something to do something like that. I mean, depending on what state. I mean, in California, you might be able to get away with that stuff. But
right.
But that's what I was thinking. But like the fear, it was, I couldn't categorize it in something that I had felt before. You know what I mean? It's just like, I can't explain it. And I felt it again later. So after that, I became the first dude. Well, first of all, I want to say that I don't know if you're cool with this or not, but I want to get a shout out to Tony Merkel, because I discovered you from his pod.
Brother, I love Tony, man. Shout Tony out as much as you want. He's a really good dude. You know, I'll say that.
He gets in some wild stuff sometimes, but when he gets some big stuff, Bigfoot stuff on, I'm all over it.
You know, and that's the thing Tony needs to do. Have more fucking Bigfoot on, brother. Like, the people love it. I know I'm supposed to be going back to do another part. I don't know when that's going to happen. But I absolutely loved it, man. And Tony, because I went and I did Tony's show, and I seen, because I knew Tony when he started, right? Like in 2013 or something like that. I knew Tony then because I was on Bigfoot Bounty, and Tony was hitting me up, right? And he had a Facebook group, and he was just some trucker, right? Fast forward years later, he's got multiple people, full-time employees, all from his podcast, you know, and that's just from sitting back and press and go, you know, and getting the shit out there. So Tony, like, was a lot of inspiration, because I'd already had like 3 episodes filmed, and then Les came down to my house, and I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to roll with the podcast too. And Tony Merkel, for everybody that enjoys this podcast, Tony Merkel is a big reason as to why I'm doing it. You know?
I hear you. Well, he's, based on what I heard him say, his story is not unlike yours. He said that it was kind of a spiritual journey for him, for, you know, just to speak truth, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah, and I hope to have him down here on the show here before too long, you know.
No, that'd be cool. But I just want to say that, dude, because I listened to that podcast like 10 times. And my girlfriend that I have, you know, she, you know, I watched that thing like 10 times. She's like, when are you going to quit watching this? I'm like, dude, I'm digging this. Like, I love Stacey Brown.
Yeah, and then I'm listening to like Ninjas Are Butterflies, which I don't know if y'all have heard that. He goes on Ninjas Are Butterflies, and I see Tony's on there. I'm like, shit, let me check it out. Let me check Tony out. And he name drops me. I was like, I sent it to my wife. I'm like, bro, life's complete now.
That's good, man. You need I hope your channel pops off, dude, because me and many others like it. So,
well, we're going to keep trying.
You know?
If it don't go nowhere but to where it is right now, that's good enough for me, man, because I really never thought I would be doing this show and there would be people that tune into it. You know, some videos do better than others, and, you know, it's understandable. YouTube will push you sometimes, and then they won't push you, and you can tell, right? But we built a community here, you know, from scratch since November. You know, I'm thrilled. Like, you can check out the chats. it's the same people that are in there all the time, you know, and they have been here since since the first few episodes. And that shit's wild. You know, a lot of people came from the Merkel episode I did, and then a lot of people came from the Les Stroud interview I did. And hell, I'm just appreciative. I'm enjoying all of it, you know.
Blessings to you, brother.
Well, what else happened, man?
Well, you weren't around back in the day when I got into this stuff. So I got into Sasquatch Chronicles.
Okay.
I listened to every freaking episode he had up until then. I just left to do it at work all day, every day. You know.
Right.
It was probably 10 years after that or so. I'm up at deer camp.
We've
100
all
or
seen
so miles
structure.
north of where this other encounter happened.
Mm-hmm.
It's north of the New York border. It's like 45 minutes from Allegheny National Forest. And I'll give you both these locations exactly if you want to know where they are.
Oh, for sure, man.
And I wanted to ask you a couple of questions. That's one I want to ask, but I'll ask you now. Do you keep a map of some of this stuff?
I wish I could turn the camera around right now. I have my map of Florida up there where I've got pins in it, and I don't have all the pins because I had it sitting on the damn floor, and my niece came over and pulled a shit ton of them out.
I think I've submitted this to like 2 or 3 other guys just for like mapping purposes, not for, you know what I mean? I just wanted to know where like shit was happening.
Yeah, I do keep a log with locations, you know, and maps, so that the day comes that I'm no longer breathing, you know, somebody else could look at it and, you know, they can take it for what it is or chunk it in the fucking trash, whatever. But it'll be there, right? My life's work.
We can talk about that. But in this scenario, I'm up at camp. It's a single wide trailer. It's 60 feet off of a fast moving road that's not well traveled.
Mm-hmm.
It's 60 feet off of a tree line that's in the back. The tree line starts and the ridge starts at the same time. So there's like a flat yard, and then the tree line and the ridge starts. It goes down into a valley. I'm sure you've been to Pennsylvania. You know how it is. You're either going uphill or you're going downhill. You're not. You know what I mean?
Ain't much in between.
No. So I'm up on behind the ridge in the back. So I'm like 30 feet or so off of the back of the ridge in the back from the tree line. I don't expect, this is completely unexpected because it's in the middle of the day. It's not like afternoon, but it's like the sun's still up. It's not sunset, but it's probably 4 or 5 o'clock in the fall. So the sun's going down. I hear something moving around to my right. I'm listening. Yes. You start hearing stuff in the woods after you had an encounter. You start to listen a little bit closer. This thing it ain't no deer. Footsteps like before, and it's pushing. I can hear it pushing limbs aside now because it's thicker down there. And this spot where this thing is at, there's like 100-foot spot right there. It's probably like, I don't know, 40 by 100. Like this. We get these jagger bushes in PA where you can't walk through them. They grow so thick. You need like leather armor to walk through there, or you have to walk through very slow because it'll just tear you to pieces.
Right.
This is where this thing's coming. It's coming from my right. And that's exactly where it's at. So I hear it moving. I hear it walking. It's not slowing down. It's not moving fast, just like the first one, just slow, confident, heavy steps. Now my meter's going off. What the heck is this thing? What is it doing? It starts making this slapping noise, dude. And now when I say this, I've heard hundreds of these encounter stories. I've only heard one other guy say that it slapped. So when I say slap, I don't mean, and I thought about this a lot, it's not like if you were to slap your hands together, you get that clear, crisp slap sound.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what it sounded like. It sounded like if you had a pair of sweatpants or like a sweatshirt on and you were to like slap your leg in the thigh, it was kind of like a dull slap.
Right.
It didn't sound like it, didn't sound like a chest hit or something like hollow. It sounded like it's hitting itself, but it's muffled. It does this like 4 or 5 times as it's walking towards me. And now I'm thinking, what the heck is going on? And all the time it's getting closer and closer to me. And eventually it quits doing it. And it's like, it's almost right underneath me. So if I walk over to this ledge and look down to the right, this thing will be 60 feet from me, maybe closer than that. I have Bigfoot on the brain at this point, and I'm thinking, I'm not ready for this shit. I can't. I'm going to have to stare this thing down the face if I walk over here. I had a 9mm on me at that point. I remember my cousin had a gun underneath the front seat of the truck. I walked to the front of the trailer, which is only like 100 feet away. I go grab it. It was probably a 40, 45. Load it, come back. I got 2 guns at this point. I still don't have the gumption to walk over and look at that ridge. It's like 60 seconds later, my cousin comes over on a golf cart with the freaking neighbor. Because everybody's got some kind of off-road vehicle up there, He gets off like 100 yards off, comes walking over towards me. What are you doing? There's something down there. There ain't nothing down there. What are you talking about? Blah, blah, blah. So I kind of start meandering over because he's kind of walking down to the left because that's the only way you can get down there. And we're looking. There's nothing down there. If that were to happen to me yesterday, I would be down in there looking for every sign that I could find. But that's not where my head was at.
Right.
So I forgot about it. Never saw the thing. Marked up on me. Vanished again. That was it. There's a third story I didn't tell you about, and this ties into your structures thing.
Okay.
Same place. So we ride 4-wheelers up there a lot. So it was me, my cousin, and like 2 of his friends, and we were meandering around like, I don't know, probably 2 miles back in the woods. There's a pipeline back there, so we just kind of traverse that back and forth. And my cousin's a rock hound. He likes getting in the creeks. He likes looking for, he likes pink granite. So sometimes we get in the creek and kind of smell around and see what we can find, So we get off the quad trail, kind of start walking through the woods, and we find one of these structures. Like it was like a kind of like a little dome type structure. It wasn't super duper tall, maybe 6-8 foot, opening in the front. It wasn't super tightly woven, but it looked like something had been chilling in there. I'm like, all right, that's weird. No big deal, but it looked like something like some kids would throw together or something, Not like thinking anything crazy. Anywho, we get down in the creek and we're meandering around. 2 of the guys say they heard a growl. I didn't hear it. I said, okay. A minute later, we find this weird track line. And we couldn't figure out what was making it. And we followed it for, I don't know, 100 feet or so. It was weird looking. Looked like something was dragging its feet, like moving like it was trying to make a bigger trail than I don't know. I don't know how to explain it.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of ignored that. Once again, if I would have seen that yesterday, I would be looking at it way closer. A couple of minutes later, we're by a big boulder, same creek, maybe another 100, 200 feet down the creek. I get behind this boulder. I'm looking down on the ground. I see 2 imprints on the ground side by side. Something big had been standing here. Those are the only impressions I've ever seen. I called my one buddy over, dude. I'm like, what's that look like to you? Look like something was standing there. Big prints, bigger than, they're not boot prints. They're flat. There's no indentions or anything in them. There's nothing, you know what I mean?
Right.
That's it. We're out of there.
Yeah.
I forget about it. Last story. Most recent one. This was like a year or two ago. I can't remember. Up at the same place, not far from the back of the camp. I'm sitting in the camp, my girlfriend and her daughter. They wanted to start a fire and just kind of meander around in the backyard. I say, okay, I'm staying in here. So they go out and do their business, and they start their fire. And they're out there for, I don't know, maybe a half an hour messing around. We come back in. They say, we saw a Sasquatch. We saw a Sasquatch. I say, you didn't see no Sasquatch. I don't believe it,
Right.
And they're telling me about it, I don't. I'm getting vagaries, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm all right, whatever. I believe you, sort of, kind of. Anywho, a couple months later, I was watching that Tony Merkel interview with you, and they showed your father's thermal video, right?
Yep.
I stop it, I pause it, I rewind it. Babe, come look at this. She comes over, I press play, right as the silhouette crosses the gap, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's like, that's it, that's what we saw. And then she calls her daughter over. I'm like, all right, I'll rewind it, pause it. Look. Play it. He's like, yeah, that's it. So apparently, and I forgot to mention this. They both verified that's, similar to what they saw in the trees. But that day when we were up there, we were shooting clay pigeons. And I heard a tree fall over right where they saw that thing.
Right.
Walk through there. Yeah. And yeah, that's it, dude.
So what did they think? Like, are they not wanting to go back to the woods anymore? Or like,
no, dude, they're no fear, no nothing. Just so here's my protocol. After like my first 2 encounters, I set up 2 cellular trail cams there, and I have them pointing at each other, and it's facing the back and the front of the trailer just to give me like a buffer because I have like some kind of fear or something.
Yeah.
I was doing that at that time, but I'm starting to lose the fear, dude. I bought my first thermal like 2 months ago, and I'm trying to draw these things in, not push them out. So
yeah,
that's the plan.
Well, I would tell you the fear is useful. Okay, there was a time when I lost the fear and became ignorantly comfortable. Right? Chances are these things aren't going to hurt you. They're going to try to scare the shit out of you, but they're not going to hurt you. But if you had 100 humans and you encountered all of these 100 humans one at a time, miles into the woods, statistically, one of them is going to try to harm you and will.
Sure.
So that, you know, when people say, "Oh, Bigfoot's never going to hurt you," yeah, I can't get down that. I can't get on that boat. You know what I mean? Because statistically, one of the damn things is going to hurt somebody. Just like a bear, just like a raccoon, just like a squirrel. People have had their ass eaten up by a squirrel before. Hell, beavers kill more people, you know, a year than you would think is possible. You know, nobody thinks, oh, beavers don't kill people. Shit, look it up. You know, so I would always, it's good to just stay cautious, right? You know, and don't never put yourself into a situation to where you're screwed. Because I think that's when, you know, stuff can go wrong.
Well, listen, when I'm out there, I sleep on a sofa that is right next to a window.
Okay.
I don't, it's a futon. I'm not going to lay the futon out so my head is right next to the window and then open it up and then remove the shades.
Right, right.
I keep the window closed and I put the blinds so you can't see in. And then, but I kind of want to remove the trail cams that way. Maybe I can get something on the thermal that way.
Right. Yeah. You know, brother, if you got a house that you believe they're coming to, it's a matter of time. You know, that's why you see my project I've started in Alabama. And sure, I go and camp away from the house, but they're just coming to the house. You know what I mean? And it's just a matter of time. We just have to wait. They're going to come up one day, and they're going to be on our thermals when they do.
Well,
you know,
if the game cams work, dude, if they walk in front of game cams, they don't. We would have more pictures of them.
We would.
They don't walk in front of them things, dude. They just don't.
Yep.
So if I have them there, they're not going to come up to the house. They haven't come to the house yet, but they might come closer than they normally do because they're still back past that ridge. They've never come past the little ridge there.
Right. Well, you know, good luck to you on that, but they will, if you leave the lights out too, they'll come up closer. It's something about the lights. And so here's something you can do. Okay. If you have a light on, do you have a light outside?
Yeah. There's one in the back, like on a post.
Okay. Yeah. Go out there at night and walk the edge of the light as far as that fucker will shine. I want you to go out there and walk the edge of it. You can have a flashlight, you know, you can be with people, whatever. You're just looking. But you walk the edge of that light source, you know, so it may shine out in a big circle or wherever, but wherever that light ends and it starts getting dark, look in that area and see if you don't find sticks stuck in the ground. I'm willing to bet.
Oh, see? Oh, whoa.
I'm willing to bet you right now you would find sticks stuck in the ground at the edge of that light.
This leads me to my one question I wanted to ask you. What do you think about the siege of Hanobia?
I think it's a very cool ass story, and you know, I wish somebody would make it into a really good horror film.
So they make that point in that story about the sticks and the lights?
Do they?
Yeah.
Okay.
He said there was X patterns, X structures where the light, where the motion sensor would turn on. That's what the guy said.
Okay. Well, yeah, that, brother, I didn't know that, but and then again, I haven't like looked into where I know the names or the date of when it happened, but I know the story for the most part. And that was something with the sticks. That was something I found out on a property we were working. You know, I just so happened to be walking to the cabin, and as I was going not the normal path, I was kind of cutting through the woods, and I looked down right at the edge of the light, and it dawned on me. I was like, "Oh shit! They're marking the light, so they know how far."
Was it a motion sensor, or was it light just on?
Sure was motion sensor, and they knew how far they could get up to that house.
This one ain't. It's just on always.
Right. Well, they would, I don't think that matters, but this one was a motion sensor, and they knew how close they'd get to that damn house without being seen. So try it, brother.
That is frightening.
Yeah. But try it, because they're very intelligent, and that I think is what will freak you out more than anything is once you start seeing their intelligence.
That's not what frightens me the most. I'll tell you what frightens me the most.
What's that?
It's these damn orbs, number one, but that's not what I wanted to ask you next. I wanted to ask you about their migration. Do you think they're moving around?
100%. I don't know that they're going 500 miles. They may be. I know what I believe is they don't stay in an area.
Times when I seen these darn things, or not seen them, but they were near me. And from other stuff that I've heard from other encounters, it's fall time, dude. In Pennsylvania, this part, and it's probably Ohio, West Virginia. It's late summer and fall. They move through here, and I don't know where they're going.
Right.
I assume they're moving south.
Might be. Why do you think they'd be heading south?
Because have you seen PA in the wintertime?
Oh yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
You can see for 1,000 yards on every ridge. You wouldn't be able to hide. It would track you down in an instant. You can't hide in the snow up here. You just can't.
And who wants to live out in that shit anyways?
Well,
I don't understand why y'all live there.
Not everybody wants to live in a 90-degree heat every day.
Doesn't make sense. Like, why not?
Dude, they track you down. You can't hide. You can see everything. And your footprints would be visible everywhere. You just can't hide. They move south of here. They move through when there's berries or whatever, and they're going south, dude. I'm telling you, they don't live here. They're only here for like a month out of the year.
Yeah, just passing through.
That's it.
Well, I also believe that's why they haven't really been pegged down yet. They're kind of like the whole Saddam Hussein thing where they kept moving him around, and it took so long to find him because he never stayed in the same place twice. And
I think your skunk ape down there doesn't move around as much. I think he stays semi-local when he might do like small circles or wherever he's at.
Yeah, I think they're following the game, whether that be up and down the river like the Myakka River, the Myakka State Park. They're in that park sometimes, but it's based on where that game's at. They're going up and down that river. So if you can find the hogs, you can find the majority of the hogs, you're going to find the Bigfoot.
I believe that, but I think the ones up here, we're moving out of the freaking snow, dude. Because once you get into a spot that's super duper isolated where they're not going to be seen,
so are they like
the heck out of there?
Where do you think they'd be going down to? How far?
I don't know, dude. That's why your map's important.
Well, the map's also important because I tell people to usually Bigfoot in one place, right? Pick one place where there has been encounters, and then just go there continuously, because that's the thing with us. Like, we had that encounter the other night on Saturday night. It was a great night for squatching. But brother, we've been out there 40 times and not shit happened before that, but we know they come to there every now and then, and it's just can you be there when they are? You just got to be ready for it every time, which I was not ready, but that's a side quest. I
understand that, dude, but like catching the track in the snow is not like catching it in the leaves. Like if they walk through, you could follow them wherever they were going. They're just not there.
Yeah, hell yeah. That's a good point, man. And I think that's the same thing in like Washington State and stuff like that. When the mountains, they get covered in snow, I think they may head down to the valleys or head into the coast, and they may be traveling hundreds of miles. I don't think when you have such a stride as they do, 4 or 5 foot in between each step, I don't think it takes that long to cross that distance. Take you a couple of days, maybe a week, but you be there. Especially if you move in 10 hours at night, So
Sure. I think that's exactly what they're doing. I wanted to ask you about these orbs, but nobody has any answers for this stuff.
I can tell you what I know. I can tell you what I've experienced.
I think the orbs thing is a bigger question than the damn Squatch is, man.
I think it's one and the same, but I could be wrong on that. I just when we see the orbs, we usually have Bigfoot encounters as well. I don't know how to explain that.
I would love to get, somebody knows something about this. We're not getting the answers on this.
No, we're not, and
it's going to be some CIA spook or some shit,
Oh yeah. They do know, somebody does have this all figured out. I really believe that somebody's got more knowledge than they're sharing. And I'm afraid I'm going to die and there's never going to be no answers. Right. So
that's one other thing I wanted to ask. Is there any evidence of these things going back more than recent history? The lights?
The lights have been going on forever. The Native Americans talked about them. In Europe, they talked about them. They call them here in the South, they call them the will o' the wisp, so they're equally, been talked about through history. It's not a new thing. It's just what it is. I think the podcast world and YouTube's kind of changed what people will talk about. People aren't scared to talk anymore about these things. And so now you're having more reports come forward, especially with the lights and stuff. So it may seem like it's all of a sudden these lights are showing up, but from Asia all the way to North America, people have been seeing these things for hundreds of years. So
another question. I'm sorry, dude. I feel like I'm wasting your time here.
Oh, you're good, bro.
Have you seen that documentary, Them and Us?
Them and Us. What is that about? Is that about?
Look it up on YouTube, dude. It's called Them and Us. It's this dude that I forget his name. He redefines like the Neanderthal and he recreates like
that's the book.
Structure.
That's the book. Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't know there was a documentary.
He's got a thing on YouTube and he kind of shows you the picture of the being, and then they talk about what went on and like the.
Yes, and he talks about Neanderthal and his descriptions of it match a Bigfoot pretty good. So that's if I had to go with Bigfoot being like a human species, I would think it's probably Neanderthal. Based on that stuff.
Like you said, that the Geico caveman, that's the image we get. This thing looks like an angry shit man. It's frightening looking. Like that's why I say look it up on YouTube, because the thing is scary looking.
Yeah, I didn't know there was like images and stuff. I'm more of a image kind of guy, not really a big reader. But I will look Them and Us up, because that guy, he lays out a very different perspective on what a Neanderthal looked like, because we think of some caveman wearing a damn animal skin and carrying a big club and dragging his woman by the hair.
Yeah, no, based on I don't know how accurate the thing I saw was, but it just looked like an angry chimp man that was carrying a spear. And that's not. I can't help myself, dude. I got you here, man. Why doesn't Sasquatch use tools? Does it make any sense to you?
Yeah, dude, people claim they do. I'm not sure of that. I've never seen no evidence of that. I know I interviewed a guy who believed, and he brought the shit. And he's like, I believe they're doing this with that. They're killing with these, and they're doing stuff with these kind of sticks. Maybe they are. The problem is it boils down to every encounter is a fleeting glimpse. Where is the encounters to where you're watching them for 20 minutes and they don't know you're watching them? That's what we need. We need somebody to see these things doing what they do, and not just crossing a road or running away from my trash cans, or I turned the corner on the trail and there it was, and then it ran and I ran too. That's most of your encounters. Your encounters are never, I was up on a ridge and I glassed this family of Sasquatch down walking through the valley, and they were rolling over logs and, using these things to do this or that, unfortunately. But who knows, man? And until somebody can get the time.
If they can read minds like I think they can, we're never going to get none of that shit until you get a couple of helicopters and a squad of guys out there to capture one and throw in a cage and then interrogate them.
If they can read minds, and I know this is going to sound crazy, but a fucking tinfoil hat thing, that gives you more protection for your brain than you realize. Like, look that up. Look up what a tinfoil hat will actually do for you. And so maybe that could block something from reading your mind, but who knows? If they're using telepathy and stuff, you can't trick them at that point. The best you could do is try to communicate them and get them to come up, and then just ask them, hey, can I film you? Can I film you so I can then go show it on YouTube and show it around and everybody can call me a liar?
He's going to tell you no.
He may not. Depends on if he likes Twinkies.
All right, Stacey.
Well, brother, hey, I appreciate you calling, man.
Yes, sir. Appreciate your time. I'm a huge fan.
Yeah, man.
I wanted to ask you about the Bigfoot remains guy. Are you talking about the guy that he does like dog training videos and stuff on YouTube?
Nope. Nope. This guy, if you get, he's on social media. It's Bigfoot Remains, Instagram, Facebook, stuff like that. He looks like fucking Joe Exotic. You'll know him when you see him.
He doesn't have a short, dark hair?
He got bleach blonde hair, bro, and these damn, like, snowboarding glasses on.
What the hell? Who am I thinking of then?
You're thinking of that other guy, the guy that, like, he trains dogs, but he also has, like, this 300-year-old Sasquatch his granddaddy had or some shit like that.
In the freezer.
Yeah, that's all satire as well. This guy.
I thought that's who you were talking about.
Nah, this guy's name's Snake. Right, like kind of like Snake Plissken, Escape from New York and stuff. But dude, he's a character, bro. He seems so fun, and I don't know that he's hoaxing more as being a showman. You know what I mean? Because he's touring this thing around, and people are enjoying it. And yeah, he's got claims, he's got the DNA and all that, and so the news channels are having him on. He doesn't seem to be exploiting anybody. Like, I mean, because if you called this guy exploiting people because he's charging them to see the body, then you'd have to call the people at the fair that you pay $1 to see the world's smallest woman or the world's smallest horse. You know what I'm saying? At the fairgrounds, when you pop into that little tent and you see some oddity, you'd have to call them exploiting people too. And I don't know how much of it's exploiting and how much of it is just P.T. Barnum. Right? Like, he's not made no claims, and most people in the Bigfoot world don't know he's even there. Yeah, but whatever. I'm gonna talk to him. I'm gonna ask him some hard questions. I already told him, hey, I'll be respectful with you, but I got to do my job. I got to ask the questions. I got to call bullshit where I see it. And, he seems like a really fun person. So he's talking about coming to Florida. I'm going to interview him. I will not be stamping my name on any kind of approval sheet if he is bullshitting. And from the look of the body, it looks like it's all like satire, but hey, I don't fucking know, dude. I don't fucking, the Bigfoot that he has laying down there doesn't look like a damn thing like the one I saw. I'll just leave it at that.
All right, well, I'm sure it'll be bunches of fun.
It will be entertaining because this dude is a card, bro.
Dude, I wanted to ask you about that. The PG film, the guy that saw
Harry Man Road, the one that watched the new
saw the
documentary.
film that you wanted to interview. What was his channel's name?
Harry Man Road.
Harry Man Road. That's the channel. Okay.
Yeah, that's his channel. Amy, he did not kill a Bigfoot. He found it dead in the woods. Somebody's talking about in the chat, and not fun if he killed a Bigfoot. No, he did not kill it. He claims, as the title of his stuff is, Bigfoot Remains. He found Bigfoot's remains. So he claims. It looks like a rubber suit to me, but there's so much like a lot of the shit gets monotonous and boring to me. It's the same stuff over and over again. So when somebody pops up with some extraordinary tale like that, I'm like, oh shit, I got to talk to this guy, you know? So,
all right, Stacy, wish you the best, brother.
Yeah, buddy. Hey, thanks a lot, man. And stay in touch.
Yes, sir.
All right, buddy. Bye.
Over and out.
All right. So I've been getting so many messages. People started calling in. You know, guess that's how it goes. Here we expect you to work over this Bigfoot corpse guy, Stacy. Trust me, there will be fleshlight jokes and all kinds of shit like that. I can't help but be myself. Yeah, and what's he gonna do? What the fuck is he gonna do? You know, no, I'm not rude, but at the end of the day, I'm still gonna be myself, right? Okay, so while I was changing the alternator, in my brother-in-law's vehicle, my 9-year-old niece came up to me and said, Munkle Stacy. She used to not be able to say uncle. She said Munkle, so I am Munkle Stacy. She started a YouTube channel, and she's like, can I look at your YouTube channel? And she was blown away, right? She does these little video games, or she plays video games and stuff like that. And I thought, what better way for her to get up in the morning? She has 7 subscribers right now. But what better way to surprise her than to get her a bunch of subscribers? Okay. You know, in one of her videos, she was so happy. She plays Roblox and stuff like that online and uploads it. But one of her videos had 214 plays, and she was so excited. However, I want to ask anybody that will do it to go and subscribe and maybe leave a comment on my niece's channel. I'm going to put it in the chat. Okay, it is Mia Minor. If y'all could please do me the favor, YouTube Mia Minor. You know, it's free to subscribe. My niece would absolutely love it if she woke up in the morning and she had 30, 40 subscribers, right? So if y'all do not mind, it would make, it's on the screen there, Tyler. It is Mia Minor. And I'm going to hold up what the channel looks like. Maybe you can see it on camera. Well, that damn thing has got it blurred out. Focus. There's like, I don't know. You'll get to it. It's like a bunch of Roblox videos, you know, and I would absolutely love it. Yes, David, I have told my sister that, but I can't do anything about it. It's not my kid to raise. You know, so if y'all could go subscribe, maybe leave a comment, I would greatly appreciate it. It would make her day. And she's got No, she doesn't have a birthday coming up. It's my other niece. Emma's got a birthday coming up here in a few days. But yes, thank you so much, people that are saying they subscribed. That really means a lot. Okay, so we are here at the end of the program. Friday night, okay, people, we're gonna do a deep dive. All right, I haven't done one of these in a really long time, and I'm working on a few of them. But it's not going to be like the B-roll and stuff. It's going to be more or less me sitting up here in the cave, filling you in with the facts. And this Friday will be about the Ocheesy Pond wild men. So if you don't know the story, and you may have heard about it online, you may have heard me babble about it from time to time, but I'm going to lay out all the facts. And I got facts that people don't know, people. Because I'll be doing things. I'll be meeting people. I'll be talking to people. I'm out there working. I'm really Bigfooting all the time. Even when I'm Ubering, I'll be like, yo, wow, I got you in my back seat. Tell me if you ever seen a Bigfoot. And hey, I'm being serious that I have gotten some reports. The Dania Elementary School deep dive I did, that was from an Uber rider. You know, they seen an air freshener and started talking to me about it. But yes, the Ocheesy Pond. And it's about 12 miles from where my dad got his footage. Okay. So it's a very active area, but the Ocheesy Pond, just to go ahead and give you a little preview, in 1884, there was a mysterious hair-covered man that was taking chickens and goats and then maybe attacked some children, and a posse was formed and they went and caught the thing. And I'll leave it at that. So it was one of the first known captures of a wild man. Cool part about that story is that we know where he's buried. The shitty part about that story is they built a wing of the hospital over the grave. So, this Friday night, we'll talk about that. And then next week, I got a guy coming on, William. Maybe it's Willie. I kind of put that 2 and 2 together here. Like when y'all send me your emails, I don't really know your screen names. So I don't tie the two together. But he has a crazy ass story where he looked out of his window and seen a Bigfoot. And then like the next thing he knew, the police were all over the place. So the police knew about the Bigfoot as well. So maybe that's Willie. But yeah, I'm going to get into that for Friday night. I'm going to tell you all the ins and outs. Thing you probably don't know about the Ocheesy Pond wild man is that there were three encounters and a fourth giant skeleton found. So I'm gonna lay down the facts for y'all. I seem to be one of the only people that got them. Like Dale Cox got me onto this. Here we go. If Stacy is ever my Uber driver, I'll shit my pants. LMAO. Do you? Northeastern Florida. Mainly in the Tallahassee area, buddy. But if you shit your pants in my car, that's a $250 charge. And I will report you. Because I'm waiting on somebody to puke. Last person to puke, I said, yeah, puke that money up, buddy. Puke that money. That's $250 right now. Keep puking. And he did. You know, so but yeah, I'm excited to get into that. And then we're going to do another deep dive maybe next week on the on Tate's Hell. I'm going to get some. It's not that I don't want to continue to do interviews, because I do. I like interviews, but I want to make some research videos, and maybe that's something y'all are into. You know, maybe you're not. And we'll go back to the damn interviews, but every Bigfoot channel, podcast, all that, is just strictly interviews, and that's great and stuff like that. But damn, let's see what we can find. David Birch, can you smoke in my Uber? Yes, you can with a tip. It's full service in mine, buddy. You can pet this beer while you're at it, but you got to have a smoke for me too. But yeah, you never know who your Uber driver is going to be. And I never know who my Uber rider is going to be. I've had some really cool people that I never thought would be in my car. Were in my car. I picked up Heart one day and they gave me tickets to their show. Shit happens. You never know, sometimes maybe somebody punches you in the head. That's happened to me too. Like some 15-year-old girls. I was like, good Lord, what is wrong with you people? But, Sherry Radway, whatever you do, Stacy, I'm there and watching. Thank you so much. But yeah, if you guys have any ideas, any topics you'd like me to cover, any people you'd like to see on the show, Skitter saying get Janice Carter on. I will definitely make a note of that and get to looking into Janice Carter. I believe I've heard the name before more than once. But yeah, if y'all got certain topics you want to know about, certain places, I'll get all the information within a few weeks and make a damn video on it. We'll talk about it. So also, okay. So I like interviewing people, right? And I love Bigfoot. Don't get me wrong. I love Bigfoot. I've been into it my whole life. I really have since I was a little kid. But there's one other thing I like as much as Bigfoot, and that's people's life stories. And so I'm launching another podcast, and it's called Still Here. So that podcast is going to be about people who survived stuff, crazy stuff. Buddy of mine, and this is kind of odd, but an uncle of his got executed by the state of Florida, death row inmate. He believes he's innocent, but however, he's going to talk about how that affected his mother and his family. Got a person coming on who was kidnapped. Got some people coming on who survived Hurricane Michael. I got a guy I'm going to talk to that survived getting left on a mountain for dead. So I just want to talk to people that have these harrowing tales. Maybe they were left at sea. One guy that hit me up said when he was young and he was a drug dealer, they got robbed. The car was shot like 30 times and he had to hold his buddy's head together. That kind of stuff, the kind of stuff that will make you cry. I love that stuff. And I'll cry too, right? So like if you tell me some emotional shit, I am going to cry because I don't know why, but it's like I almost put myself in their shoes. I'll feel bad with you, right? I had a guy in the Uber one day. He was just all to pieces about his dog. He was having to put his dog down, and then I'm crying too. Just feel terrible. But I want to get these stories out there. I used to work for the Cajun Navy doing their videography, and we would interview people who had just lived through natural disasters. And I would film their interviews, and we put it on social media and raise money for those people. And I loved it. It was just the company was See, like, if you have a fucking nonprofit, you don't have to give all that money to the people. You can keep most of it. And they were, right? And I just had a damn difference of opinion on, like, brother, your 3 trucks that your company is paying is coming from people's donations that think they're going to these people over here. But you just paid $1,600 to have this truck wrapped with your logo and business and all that shit on it. And that was paid by people's donations. We're all out here eating super nice. It was paid for by people's donations, and I couldn't do that no more. I felt that was wrong, but I still want to interview the people. I still want to hear their stories, give them a voice, give them a platform. So maybe I'm going to start working on it next month. And if anybody has some stories like that, that you survived any kind of crazy ass moment, whether that be a toxic relationship that went wrong or, I don't know, a home invasion, anything, get at me, hit me up. I'd love to come sit down with you because these are going to be face-to-face interviews. It's going to take me, I'm going to get 6 months of interviews done before I post the first one. So it's maybe something that comes out in October or something like that. And just going to see how it goes. I love the Bigfoot thing. Still always going to be right here doing the Bigfoot underground. But, I want to tell some other stories. I want to tell some non-Bigfoot stuff too. So we'll see how it goes. But anyways, yes, Mia Minor. If y'all check that out, all of you that did already, thank you so much. But anyways, until Friday, I'll see y'all in the chats, and y'all stay safe.